Let us continue with our reading and analysis of William Cowper's poem On the Receipt of My Mother's Picture. We have read that the poet is vividly reminded of his long dead mother when he receives her picture from his cousin Anne Bottom. And the lines that we are going to read, the poet continues to converse with the picture of his mother as if she were alive, and remembers his childhood days spent in the comfort of their country house. Let us read the lines first. Where once we dwelt, our name is heard no more. Children not thine have trod my nursery floor. And where the gardener robin, day by day, drew me to school along the public way, delighted with my bauble coach, and wrapped in scarlet mantle warm and velvet capped. 'Tis now become a history little known, that once we called the pastoral house our own. Short-lived possession, but the record fair, that memory keeps of all thy kindness there, still outlives many a storm that has effaced 1,000 other themes less deeply traced. Thy nightly visits to my chamber made, that thou mightest know me safe and warmly laid. Thy morning bounties, ere I left my home, the biscuit or confectionery plum, the fragrant waters on my cheeks bestowed by thy own hand, till fresh they shone and glowed. All this, and more endearing still than all, thy constant flow of love that knew no fall, never roughened by those cataracts and breaks that humour interposed too often makes. All this, still legible in memory's page, and still to be so to my latest age, adds joy to duty, makes me glad to pay such honours to thee as my numbers may. Perhaps a frail memorial, but sincere, not scorned in heaven, though little noticed here. In these lines, as you see, the poet describes their country home, their pastoral house, and the time they spent there. He remembers the care, affection that he got from his mother, and laments the loss of all the childhood warmth and love, care and security that he enjoyed in that house. Let us look at some of the words that the poet has used in these lines. Where once we dwelt, our name is heard no more. That is, dwelt means lived. Where once we had lived, nobody remembers us now. Children not thine have trod my nursery floor. Some other family now lives in that pastoral house, in that country house, and their children have walked my nursery floor. And where the gardener robin day by day drew me to school along the public way, delighted with my bauble coach. Bauble coach? It's a decorated coach, a toy cart, decorated with trinkets of little value. And the gardener, he's going down memory lane. The poet is going down the memory lane, and he's reliving those days once again. And he remembers how the gardener, Robin, used to take him to school in his bauble coach, and he was wrapped in bright, warm clothes, wrapped in scarlet red, mantle warm in a red loose cloak, and velvet capped, wearing a warm velvet cap. 'Tis now become a history little known, that once we called the pastoral house our own, short-lived possession. Notice, notice the regret that he still carries, that they could not live in that house for a long time, that it was only a short-lived possession. But goes on to say that the time that he had spent there is recorded deeply, is etched in his memory, but the record fair, the record, the evidence of those days is etched in his memory. That memory keeps of all thy kindness there. That is, all those memories are preserved. All those, uh, all those times are preserved in his memory. Still outlives many a storm that has effaced 1,000 other themes less deeply traced. Storms of violent emotions, deeply traced, effaced. Before that, you have the word effaced. Effaced means removed, erased. 1,000 other themes less deeply traced. That is, he has gone through difficult times. He's gone through tough times. He's gone through storms of violent emotions. But those have effaced from his memory. But the kindness that he experienced in that house is preserved. He remembers affectionately the nightly visits that his mother used to make to his room, chamber, that to know that uh, he was safe and warmly laid. He remembers the generous gifts, the morning bounties that she used to give to him before he left home, the biscuit, the confectionery plum, the cakes and biscuits, and how she used to ready him for school by applying fragrant waters, sweet, pleasant smelling waters on his cheeks, bestowed, applied by her own hand, by thy own hand, till fresh they shone and glowed. All this and more endearing still than all, the constant flow of love that knew no fall. He's reminded of the constant flow of love that knew no fall, that knew no end, never roughened by those cataracts and breaks. Never roughened by those cataracts and breaks. The poet here is comparing the mother's love to a waterfall that is not interrupted by any bushes or reeds. That is, the reference is metaphorical, and uh, to the mother's steady flow of love, which is not erratic in its behavior, which does not overflow like a cataract, which is like a waterfall which gushes forth and is not interrupted by any breaks, which is not interrupted by in its flow, which is continuous. That humor interposed too often makes. That humor interposed, that temperament interposed, interrupts, too often makes. All this still legible in my memory space. All that is written clearly. Legible means written clearly in his memories page, and still to be so to my latest age, and will continue to be so till the very end of his life. And all that continues to add joy to his work, makes me glad to pay such honors to thee as my numbers may. My songs, numbers here refers to the songs, the poems, perhaps a frail memorial, but sincere, not scorned in heaven, not scorned, not made fun of, not laughed at in heaven, though little noticed here. So I'll conclude by saying that the poet in these lines pays a tribute to his mother. He remembers her unconditional love, the safety and comfort that he experienced when she was near. He remembers all her generous acts, and we see that they are deeply etched in his memory and help erase the difficulties, the emotional storms, the challenges that he experienced later in life. Although the loss of all that childhood warmth is evident too, we see that these happy memories, they continue to give him strength, they continue to give him joy, and they enable him to pay honor to his mother in his words, in his poems. He is daunted by the task. He is apprehensive that his memorial, that his tribute might be a frail one. But he's sure that his efforts will not be scorned, will not be ridiculed in heaven by his mother. Although his efforts and dedication may go unnoticed here on earth. So I'll stop here for the day. Please read the lines again and listen to the commentary once again. Thank you.